Hi folks, it's Carl here and welcome back to the channel. So what is the best way to move to Canada in 2025? Now this is a question most of you have asked me, and today we are going to dive right into it. So 2024 is about to end, and we're hoping and praying that by the grace of God, we're all going to see 2025. Right? And most of you still have dreams to move to Canada in the coming year. Now, whether you're a skilled worker or an international student, or you're looking to, reunite with family in Canada, what is the best way to do that? What is the best way to move to Canada? So in this video, I'll walk you through a series of pathways, some of the best pathways for immigration to Canada in 2025. We're also going to look at some key updates for 2025 and some tips that can help you improve your chances of success. Let's jump right in. Now, despite all the immigration policy changes and all the buzz around Canada immigration lately, Canada is still one of the top best destinations for immigrants, right? Now, one of the reasons, or some of the few reasons, are that Canada still has a very strong economy. Canada is thriving. It has key industries like technology, healthcare, construction, and green energy that offers, thousands of job opportunities. Also, Canada is diverse and has a very inclusive society. So it welcomes multiculturalism. It's very welcoming for people from all over the world. Also, Canada has a very good quality of life. There's free healthcare for Canadian citizens. There's high safety rankings, better than the United States next door, right? Most people know that. And has also world-class education. So Canada consistently ranks as one of the best places to live. Although the immigration targets in Canada have, been slashed a bit, by the recent policies from the Trudeau government, the government still plans to welcome hundreds of thousands of newcomers each year. The number has dropped, but there are still plans to welcome newcomers each year. So it still makes Canada one of the most immigrant-friendly countries globally. Without wasting much time, let's dive into the most popular ways or the best ways to move to Canada in 2025. Now, if you have watched any of my earlier videos, you would know that I have always touted express entry as one of the best ways to move to Canada. Now, express entry is not an easy process. You need to persevere, you need the persistence, and you need to really be smart about your application, okay? But a lot of people think of express entry as too difficult and impossible to do, and they never give it a shot. Now, if you're looking to move to Canada in 2025, please, and you're a skilled worker, please consider express entry. Express entry is undergoing some changes recently and all of that, but it is still a good option if you're a skilled worker looking to move to Canada, okay? So who is it for? Express entry is for professionals with work experience in fields like IT, engineering, healthcare, and trades. Okay, now how does express entry work? I have a video explaining a bit more in detail how express entry actually works, but to sum it up briefly, I would say express entry uses a comprehensive ranking system called CRS to score applicants based on age, education, work experience, and language skills. So the higher your CRS score, the better your chances of getting an invitation to apply, also known as the ITA. So here is a tip for 2025, the coming year, okay? Get additional points, or try to get additional points by gaining Canadian work experience if you're already here, because guess what? Canada is trying to prioritize the people that are already in the system, okay? So try to get some additional points by gaining Canadian work experience. If you're already here, try to do that by completing a recognized education credential in Canada. That can help you boost your points for express entry. If you're not yet in Canada and you're going to apply for express entry from outside Canada, one of the ways to do that is to get more language skills, or if you have a bachelor's degree, try to move higher in your level of education. Okay, those are some tips for express entry. So that's number one. Keep it in mind, don't write it off. There are many people that are scared of express entry, and when you tell them about it, like, oh, that's a very long process. Yes, because I'm not someone that's going to sugarcoat it for you. It's a long process, but it is worth it. You know, if you are able to go through the express entry system successfully, you get a permanent residence, you know, and you move to Canada on a permanent residence. So think about it. I would say that is the number one best way to move to Canada in 2025. Consider it. Now, the next best one, number two, is the provincial nominee programs, PNPs. Now, these provincial nominee programs are run by the provinces themselves. Now, a lot of people write off these PNPs because guess what? It's a bit of a longer process. You need to get nominated by a province. They give you a provincial nomination certificate. You use that to apply or add that to your express entry pool, and you still go through the express entry process, right? So it's a bit of a long process, but it is also very much worth it. Okay, take it from me. A lot of people overlook it, but sometimes the PNPs actually have a bit of a lower requirement than the federal express entry system itself. Okay, so if you're able to secure a provincial nomination from a province, that gives you about close to about 600 extra points for express entry. Trust me, that is your golden ticket to PR in Canada. A lot of people overlook it. Don't make that mistake. Do your research and think about provincial nomination programs. Saskatchewan has one, Manitoba has one, and a lot of other provinces also have theirs. I know people that have gone through the Saskatchewan PNP and have been able to secure their PR from outside Canada. So look into it. Now, who is it for? It's for skilled workers, okay? So people with specific skills that match provincial labor needs. So these provinces usually bring in specific skills to fill in labor market needs in that province, you know? So you never know. You never know. Now, I've already said a bit about how it works, but each province has its own immigration streams that targets, you know, different skill sets. For example, Ontario has one that focuses on tech professionals. Meanwhile, Alberta also has one, but that focuses a bit more on agriculture and trades. Okay, so do your research and give it a shot. Now, for 2025, the PNPs are actually expected to expand their streams for French-speaking candidates and workers in high-demand sectors like healthcare. So if you are in any of these fields, I would say, you know, give it a shot. Okay, I always go by the saying that you miss 100% of the shots you do not take. So give it a shot. There's nothing to lose, right? So if you're in IT, healthcare, if you're a skilled worker, you have French-speaking language skills, please give that a shot. Okay, so that's number two. Now let's do number three. Now, number three, I would say, is family sponsorship. That would be the next best way to move to Canada in 2025. Okay, if you already have a family member here and they're able to sponsor you under the family sponsorship stream, then I would say that is also another option to look at for 2025. Now, who is it for? It's for Canadian citizens or permanent residents sponsoring family members. Okay. Now, usually there is a certain category of family members that you can sponsor, and there is also a set of family members that you cannot sponsor. Okay, so if you're interested in that, you need to do your research properly. Now, how it works, mainly for spouses, usually you can easily sponsor a spouse. You can easily sponsor a common law partner. Okay, you can sponsor children, and sometimes you may be able to sponsor your parents and grandparents under another type of visa, you know, but all of that would fall under family sponsorship. Now, keep in mind that for 2025, there are new pilot programs that will be coming up that seek to make the process faster for family reunification, especially in rural areas. So there'll be more updates on that when, you know, they're finally rolled out and all of that, and we know how they're actually working. So that's number 3, family sponsorship. Now, the last one, number 4, I would say that is the study to PR pathway for international students. So if you are an international student and you'd like to come to Canada and live permanently, well, you may consider this, but this is a bit of a sticky one, okay? Now, students who are pursuing education in Canada and aim is their plan to transition to permanent residency, well, this is for you. After graduation, you are able to get something called a PGWP, Postgraduate Work Permit, that helps you gain experience and eventually qualify for PR through programs like the Extras Entry under the Canadian Experience class. You know, the Extras Entry has a class like that for people already in Canada. Now, I say this is a bit of a sticky situation because there are no guarantees. Okay, there are no guarantees. I have heard of a story where people's PGWPs, their postgraduate work permits, were about to expire and they had not made any progress in the Extras Entry pool. That would mean that if your PGWP expired and you're not able to extend it, or you don't have any other job offer to go to switch to a work permit, then you would have to leave. Okay. Now, here is what most people forget to factor in. When you leave, it does not wipe off your Canadian experience, right? So you still have experience from Canada that would help you in your Express Entry application, even when you're applying from outside Canada. Okay. So don't be too worried that your PGWP is about to expire and have to go back to your home country. That's fine. Gain the experience here, go back and use your experience and all of that, your education in Canada, fit that into your Express Entry profile nicely and apply. Okay. So I would say that if you are considering this route, there are no sureties, because you know the Canadian government has been changing the policies lately, right? There's so much pressure in the system, and there are many immigration policies that have been rolled out lately if you've been following Canadian immigration news. So that path of you know, education to PR, it's not really, people try to use that as a backdoor, okay, to PR. They try to use education as a backdoor to PR. So that is why this is not up there on my list. This is actually at the bottom of my list because it could backfire, okay? But if you come here and study and gain the experience and you really want to stay, then, you know, if things don't work out, you can go back and, you know, after everything is set up nicely, your Extras Entry profile, everything is done, then you can come back as a permanent resident through Extras Entry or any of the PMP programs. And you would have an advantage because you have Canadian experience. Okay. So that would be number 4. And that was the last one. Now, let us look at some key updates for 2025. So if you're really looking at moving to Canada in 2025, here are a few things that you'd like to keep in mind. That first of all, the Express Entry draws are targeted these days. Okay. The government is holding draws that target specific occupations like tech workers, healthcare professionals, and skilled trades. Okay. So keep that in mind. I spoke about the category-based Express Entry draws in one of my videos, and I'll put the link up here and you can check that out as well. Now, also keep in mind the new work permit policies, okay? So there are expanded work permits for spouses of international students and temporary foreign workers. But mind you, especially for spouses of international students, it's no longer straightforward as it used to be. So make sure you do your research properly, okay? It is no longer straightforward, and it may be difficult for your spouse to get an open work permit if you're coming to attend a college, okay? So just make sure you've done your research properly. Another thing that you'd like to keep in mind is that there is actually increased focus on French language. French is actually the second official language of Canada, so keep that in mind. The government is actually encouraging French-speaking immigrants, especially in provinces like Quebec and New Brunswick. So if you have French language skills, like I said, you may stand a very good chance to be able to move to Canada. Do your research, okay? And lastly, if you're thinking of moving to Canada, one thing that you'd like to keep in mind is that you'd like to probably move away from the very, very big cities like Vancouver, like Ontario, where housing is still, you know, a bit of an issue, and you'd like to go a bit farther away into smaller communities where you may be able to find easier work, or more affordable housing. Just keep these in mind, okay, while you're planning. Now let's talk about some 4 tips for success to make sure that your application to move to Canada is actually successful. Now that you know some of the pathways, let's talk about these as well. First of all, like I've said, try to boost your language scores. You can use IELTS. Others also use CELPIP. And you know, that can also make a very good difference, or a very big difference, in your CRS points. The higher you score on these tests, the more points you get, okay? Secondly, make sure you have your credentials assessed for express entry. Ensure you get an ECA, that is the Educational Credential Assessment, from WES or any other organization that Canada approves of. Make sure you choose the right province, okay? Make sure you do your research into provinces that have a demand for your skill set, because you are likely to find jobs faster in those provinces than, let's say, if you move to a province where, you know, there is not really a demand for your skill set. You may struggle to find a job quickly. And choosing a good province, or choosing a province that matches your skill set, may also enhance your chances of getting a quicker nomination through the PMP. Okay, so 2025, yeah, go hard. Okay, again, plan your finances. That would be the next one. I would say plan your finances, have proof of funds ready to show that you can support yourself when you arrive in Canada, because any of these applications or any of these pathways that I mentioned, you would need to prove your financial situation properly. Also, lastly, this is just a bonus tip. I would say consult an expert. Immigration laws are a little confusing and complex, especially the forms and all of that. You know, seek help. Okay, I've always said this: seek help, and consult someone that can actually help you to fill your forms properly. There are certain mistakes that you'd like to avoid. For example, 1, make sure that you're always providing accurate information. Double check any information you submit to IRCC for your Canada application, so that you can avoid what is called misrepresentation. I made a video about that, and I'm going to link that also, so you can check that out. If you are caught to be misrepresenting yourself, you may actually face a ban. It is a very serious thing. And like I said in that video, if Canada bans you, it is likely US is going to know about it. So it's like you're getting two bans in one. Now, make sure that you also don't miss any deadlines. Be very clear of the application deadlines for any application that you're submitting, especially for the express entry and PMP draws. Okay, you'd like to be in there before you know the next draw to boost your chances. Also, don't focus only on the main express entry, the federal express entry. The provincial nomination programs, I'm going to say this again, are often overlooked by many people. But the thing is, it could actually be a faster pathway to Canada than the federal express entry program. Okay, so make sure that you do not ignore the provincial nomination programs. Okay, look at Saskatchewan, look at Alberta, look at any of the other provinces that are running these, and take your best shot. Okay, now don't skip any research. Do a lot of research. If you're watching this video, I'm sure that's part of your research. That's good. Check the cost of living in the provinces that you'd like to go to, the job market, settlement services that can help you when you move to Canada, and all of that. Okay, so do your research. So in conclusion, Canada remains one of the best places to build a new life, but you know, navigating the immigration process in 2025 requires planning, research, and persistence. And I want to highlight persistence. Nothing good comes easy, right? Keep that in mind. So whether you're coming as a skilled worker or a student, or to reunite with family, there's a pathway for you. The key is finding one that best suits your goals and making the most of the opportunities available. Okay, so what do you think? Which pathway are you considering for 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on immigration, jobs, and life in Canada. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.